Okay.
I was just moving shit at home, and I fucked up my shoulder.
Right.
My stupid ass went and benched something really heavy, and then they have a monolift there, and I forgot that I had a monolift. And I clipped it, boom, and twisted. It must have been, I think it was 455, 460.
Shit.
And I had a spot there, but he was kind of just like not someone that usually spots me.
Right, so he wasn't like, didn't know your
when he heard the ping, he was like, oh shit.
Yeah, right.
That mono's claimed a lot of people's.
Yeah.
It claimed Matt's bicep,
Fucking man. Tore bicep spotting me on bench with it.
He thought
really?
Yeah, because that mono, it's got the J hooks and it's usually pretty safe, but somebody put tape. I don't know if it was on the bar we were using or so basically when I racked it, the bar was kind of spinning.
Oh no.
And it grabbed the J hook and jumped like it was like it bit on it and it grabbed it to jump
pull
out.
it. Yep.
And Matt went to grab it to keep it from hitting me because it looked like it was gonna hit me in the head. Is what he thought.
Wow.
But I jumped up real quick. But I mean, I don't know how close it was to my head. But when we watched the video, it was probably pretty close.
Right.
But he tore his bicep when he grabbed it.
Who's Matt? Who's Matt?
Matt Reedy.
Wow.
I don't know that person.
Are you okay over there?
Oh, it feels like it's fine.
Okay, let's get started. Welcome to the Wandering Minds podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Mickey.
She's Mickey. This is Evan, and this is Jamie. Jamie, welcome. Finally, I've been trying to get you on for a long time. Evan's been here before. He's a great friend of the world. So let's talk about
the world.
Let's just dig into powerlifting because you guys are like the OGs of powerlifting. You're damn near 50. Can you believe this guy's almost 50?
He throws it at you right away.
Every single time. Because I'm proud of that. Because I'm proud. A, he's my friend. But
You're
B,
also almost 50.
and look at me compared to him, man. I look 50. He does not. So,
I don't think you look 50.
Well, I'm not 50 yet. So let's preface that. But you guys are like OGs of powerlifting. You guys have been through what I'm going through now. And you guys are still actively powerlifting. So tell me, you guys jump in. Whoever wants to jump in. Let's talk about powerlifting for a bit. Jamie, tell me what. Okay, so you
got to be stubborn. You got to be really stubborn.
You got to be stubborn. Well, tell us your records and stuff. Tell us where are you at on the.
Oh yeah, because you competed not that long ago.
Oh,
right?
man, I've done
Did you
both of them
compete
have.
with him? Yeah. In Newport.
So,
right?
as of right now, I hold for the 45 to 49 age category. I hold for the 308 class. I hold every record.
Every record.
Both the raw and the classic raw.
Wow.
And all the deadlift only and the bench only. They're all got my name.
Yeah.
308 pounds.
308 pounds. I say 308, but I weighed in at 275, 276 each time I weighed in for it.
Wow.
I just was barely. I was so close in December that Manny Alvarez, the judge, he says, "Hey man," he goes, "Do you want to go take a trip to the bathroom and like see if you can't get rid of something?
Drop a pound,
and you can drop it in the 274 class." I'm like, "Nah, I'm good."
Right.
I'm like, I'm actually coming for the records in the 308.
Okay.
So that's actually impressive as hell, though, when you think about it.
Yeah, it is.
You were gonna say something.
I was gonna say is the next weight class down. You said it was 274. That was my question.
That's just amazing to me. So and you have them in.
I also have them in I have just not any full records because I was having some. I've always had until me and him over the last probably year and a half or so. I've had the fucking squat's been my nemesis.
Yeah.
And not usually in the gym. It's usually I have
at comp.
Screwed myself up multiple times in comps squatting.
Why though?
I don't know if I think a lot of it had to do with. So, I was just talking to Stephanie about this, as my girlfriend the other day, and because these memories will pop up, and she'll be looking at me, and she talks about how big I was back in like 2018 and 19, and like. And I'm like, I was like, yeah. And she goes, your shoulders were the same size as your head. And like, I mean, I was bigger. Yeah. I did probably weigh 308, 30. I think when did you meet me, I weighed about 310, 320. So, I had tons of pure power back then. But besides bench press, my form for deadlift was shit. My form for squats was shit. I was just, and watching some of the fucking videos back then make me cringe.
Really? So you were just
I was
manhandling
just
that
pure
shit,
strength and like just kind of just fucking grabbing it and doing whatever I could with it. And not really paying attention to form. And I know I didn't suffer too much on deadlifts, but squats, I have really stiff shoulders from torn pecs. And
Yeah.
I dislocated the shoulder my freshman year of football in college. So bad that it was stuck in my rib cage.
Oh.
And they had to cut my pads
That sounds
off me and
horrible.
pop, you know. So I've had tons of injuries on the side. Well, it's made it to where I can't really.
You only have so much range of motion.
I can't get inside the rack, a normal squat rack. I can't get into it. I got to have my hands clear out by the collars.
Right.
And so my dumbass, instead of like asking questions and stuff during competitions to find out I could kick the racks in.
Yeah.
So my first competition was like 2008.
Oh,
I
okay.
I've never realized up until a year and a half ago.
That you can have the racks.
You can move the racks in to where you can grab around them.
Right.
And so I was always trying to wedge inside those racks. And one of my
not training that way.
and one of my injuries was kind of rushed through a comp like me and him did in December.
Yeah.
Marcus was there with me.
Right.
That's kind of like he was my squat guy before.
Yep.
And wedging in there, and as soon as I wasn't quite warmed up yet, and I got wedged. As soon as I wedged in there, and I had my arm in there, and everything felt kind of bound up and tight. And I started going down with the squat, and it just tore. Something in my shoulder and my elbow, something tore bad.
Yeah.
And I grimaced. And as soon as I grimaced, the judge told them to grab it. They didn't grab it. I still squatted it. They
Yeah.
did a record for it. But
Right.
but I was screwed up. I tore my tricep. I tore my ligament in my elbow
On a squat.
on a squat.
First lift, man.
Yep.
What? Oh,
First
so that
fucking
just
lift.
puts you
I
out of
actually
it,
tried
yeah.
to bench, and that's how I found out how messed up it was because I went to unrack
Couldn't
225, and it just something else. It just tore again.
Oh
right?
my God.
And the next
Wow.
morning, I had the black and blue scar bruising,
Yeah.
just like a bad tear.
Oh, wow.
And then before that, 2019, I squatted a state record in the 274 class.
Okay.
I opened with 551 on a squat, and the first one
That's so
they red lighted me. They red lighted me for depth.
Oh.
And it was kind of like what he went through this last time.
Right.
And Marcus
We'll
was
talk
like,
about that
Marcus was
one.
watching on the side, and he's like, "There's no way, man. That's good for depth." And I was
Yeah.
all frustrated and shit. And but I was wearing tight the
wraps?
the stiff wraps, not the soft ones, the super stiff ones. He
Those
goes around
are
with the
horrible.
pliers.
Yeah.
And so Marcus was wrapping my knees, and he goes, "Well, this unwrap you." He goes, "Just don't get frustrated." He goes, "We're gonna wrap you up." He goes, "You're gonna sit on the goddamn ground this time."
Yeah.
He says, "The way you squatted that so easy, you could have repped it."
Right.
So I went back up there, did it again, hit it no problem, but I fucked my patella tendon up in the process.
Oh.
And so what happens, I mean, in powerlifting, if you get hurt and you can do bench only still, they'll change you to bench only, they'll change you to deadlift only, there's no squat only.
Right.
So
yeah.
I basically had a 551 pound squat record that
Yeah.
was just
Isn't on the books.
non-existent.
Yeah. That's.
I couldn't even bench after that. I couldn't even straighten my knee to put it on the ground to bench.
Wow.
Because you can't drop the weight once you choose a weight, right?
No, yeah, you have to either hit it or you can
you
can
can't
go
go
up
down.
and weight. You can
Yeah.
do the same weight, or so say there was a guy at the non-sanctioned comp we did. He jumped his opening bench. He jumped the judge's command. Oh, you're nephew,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whatever his
Yeah.
So
Kyle.
jumped his
Yep.
command. He hit it easy, and he goes. And when he was over there, he went right before me. And so when he was over there, and he goes, "Do I have to do the same weight, or can I go up?" And she looked at him and looked at me, and I don't know if she knew if he just didn't hit it or what he was doing. And I'm like,
Right.
I was like, well, if you want to jump up, I said, you hit it easy. If you just missed it because of the command,
Right,
If
yeah.
you feel like going up,
Then
go up.
jump,
'Cause
yeah.
you got the rep, but he jumped up and like another 20 pounds and hit it.
Nailed it. Yeah. Nice.
But if you fail it because you just failed the lift, you probably want to stick with it. And,
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, and she's competed before. She's just out of it. Trying to get her back into it. But
That's why I was taught like your first. I mean, a lot of times I tell people my opening pull deadlift is usually something I can rep probably for almost
multiple
10
times. Yeah.
Like just kind of that's part of my warm up. I've kind of learned that lesson in comps sometimes the way they go.
I have too, the hard way.
Yeah, my first one will be part of a warm up, and
Yeah.
a lot of times I do that with bench because I've always.
Well, and I think as powerlifters, I think one of the defining things about us powerlifters is we are ego lifters. That defines powerlifting, right? So, but I think the problem with that also is going in there ego lifting your first opener, right? And you see it all the time where people. I mean, I saw a number of people at nationals and at worlds that bombed out because they didn't even they opened with numbers that they absolutely. And it's like, who is your coach?
Yeah,
We have
poor coaching.
we have a good friend that did the Newport meet like 3 years ago, and he did all of his openers. He set off of percentages of what he was doing.
Yeah.
And so basically, his opening squat was something he hadn't even tried in the gym yet.
Oh Lord.
And I tried talking him out of it. I tried talking him out of it. And he tried it all 3 times, and it just bent him in half all 3 times.
Are you serious? Yeah. Oh, what a waste! What a waste of all that training that you've just done. That's so tell me about the you had an issue at Newport.
Oh, the Newport meet?
Yeah.
Well, to go back on stuff, you talked about the OG lifters. He's the OG lifter.
Yeah.
I haven't been lifting very long. So just to pedal back on that, like when I first started powerlifting, I went in the gym. We talked about last time. I would go to 24 Hour Fitness with Anthony McDonald, and I'd see these guys. And it's funny, I always tell this story, but when I first met Jamie, I didn't think he liked me.
Yeah, well, look how fucking intimidating this guy is.
He never talked or anything. And so I would go in the gym, and I finally approached Matt and Jeff. You know, Jeff is one of the most friendliest guys you could ever meet. You go up to this guy, he would loan you his car, and he doesn't even know your name. He's one of the nicest guys ever. Matt was a little quiet, but I got in through Anthony, and we talk and stuff, and I always see Jamie kind of doing his own thing a little bit, but he was hitting big weights and stuff, and I never even heard him talk. And then I think it was across the street at the old Anytime Fitness, and I saw him.
Yeah, over by the Winco.
Yeah.
When it was by the Winco.
Roofs are leaking, like old school gym. Nice stuff. And
holy shit.
I think I hit like a big, I want to say I hit like a big squat or something. Finally, he come up.
Oh, it's Haley.
Oh, Haley. Oh,
and
my
finally
God.
he come up, and I think he offered me some advice or something about how to point my toes out.
Yeah.
And I was like, this motherfucker has a voice.
Right.
Oh, I never heard him talk before. And then ever since then, you know, we didn't work out too much together, but we caught each other in the gym a lot.
Yeah.
Then it just progressively got better, and he's
as gym bro relationships do.
And so once I found out, you know, he's a little bit older than me, I was like, that's what I always strive to be.
Right.
As I get older, is like I would want to be that strong.
Yeah.
Because I realized how much. I won't say it like that. You know, he's older than me, and I was like, man, I hope when I'm 40, when I'm 45, when I'm 50,
right,
I can get up to that kind of strength. Because that sport really stuck with me. Because I did boxing before.
Yeah.
And that was fun. Don't get me wrong. But last time I was on here, we talked about it. It got really old driving down the Reading up to Tacoma just to be told, your guy didn't show.
Right.
Your guy didn't make weight. Your guy refused to shave his mustache.
Oh, jeez.
Because they wouldn't.
Really?
Yeah. If they didn't shave their facial hair.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's in big, bold letters, too. Mouthpiece, shave your damn face.
Right.
And some of those guys would have, like, those little faint mustaches.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't shaving this. Like, that's not even a mustache.
Right.
So I drove 5 hours just to be told no because of some whiskers.
Right. Right. That sucks, dude.
But I've done about 6 powerlifting meets now. I think my first one was
Now, did you get into powerlifting specifically because of Jamie?
He was a big part of it,
yes. Yeah.
Not at first, because like I said, I never talked to the guy.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I saw people like him, Matt, I'm just talking straight strength, not people who go to the gym all the time. There's a lot of people I know 15, 20 years ago in the gym.
Oh, hell yeah.
But when you see guys doing that kind of weight, whether it's Jamie, Matt, or Will Dinwiddie, I don't know if you guys know who Will Dinwiddie is.
I've heard the name.
Per body weight to weight ratio, probably the strongest guy I've ever met.
Really?
In person.
Wow.
The guy was a
He
freak.
probably did some of the most impressive things I've seen squat-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think I watched him squat 405 for a set of 20 without even having knee sleeves on.
What?
Nothing. He was doing it in those shoes with toes in them, like those walking shoes. Talk about humbling, man.
Right,
He walked around doing the Ric Flair yell and stuff, and everyone had to stop and watch him. Like, what is this dude's deal?
Yeah.
And he just boom, boom. Didn't even slow down. 15 reps.
And what was
20
his
reps?
weight class?
He was.
I think
God, he must have been
220, probably 220-ish.
Wow.
He was under 250 pounds.
Yeah.
Just
wow.
I want to say that I think
dominant.
the heaviest I think it was probably, I think he told me he was around 245 at one point.
That's
I think
crazy,
anytime he
though,
competed,
man.
I don't think he did that much powerlifting. He did a lot
Really?
of strongman stuff. But I think a couple times he did powerlift.
Yeah.
He did, I think he was down in like the 220 class.
Oh, okay.
But
Wow.
he also, you know what else he did? He benched reverse grip.
I've seen that. I've seen that
He actually did it in a
competition.
comp too.
I've
He
seen
did a
that in
440.
competition.
He
That-
did it in a 440. I can't make my wrist.
dude,
I
I know,
my
right?
flexibility
Getting there-
sucks. I can't make
I
my
feel like
wrist
my
bend
elbows
like
would.
If I do that, the bar is sitting on my thumb. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even get my hand on
Right.
it.
Yeah.
But
That's
he
insane
reversed
to
because he said something about an injury he had that was just more comfortable. Like
Was it? Was
shoulder
it?
issues or something?
Okay. Wow. I actually saw a woman do that at Worlds, and she got it. And I'm like,
they say that you're actually.
It's crazy.
For
It's
pec
scary
activation and
looking.
for bench pressing, they say you actually, if you could make your arms bend the right way,
Yeah.
you got more power pushing.
oh, I actually believe that. I
Like
believe
that.
that because I mean, think about it. We think about bending the bar, right? Just
Plus your elbows are sucked way in.
Yep. That's
It's all tricep and chest.
yeah. Wow.
I can't. I'm the same way. I can't bend my wrist that far. That thing's
Right.
sitting in my thumbs.
Yeah.
Like it's a front squat. You know.
That's
I've done it like
scary
in training,
looking.
but I have to grab real fucking
Right.
wide shit.
Now,
Grab by
do
the
you
collars.
bench wide anyways? I mean, you got massive.
I got long.
wingspan.
I actually have I have ridiculous. My wingspan's like it's over 6'6".
Wow.
For as tall as I am.
Yeah.
So, it's probably. I mean, when I first started benching, I didn't think I'd ever be a very good bencher because how long my arms were.
Yeah.
And I did start out real narrow, so it was all tricep, and then I wanted to be more chest dominant, so I started going really wide. And I used to grab and put this finger on the line.
On the ring,
so it was
yeah.
really wide. Well, that's when I tore my pec.
Oh.
And so then I started, when I talked to my doctor after the major tear, I had a minor tear and then a major tear, and when I talked to my doctor, he says, you probably want to, if you're going to keep bench pressing, keep doing what you're doing,
Yep.
because you probably want to figure out something different with your grip.
Right.
And he tried figuring out some kind of something about a rule of thumb with your angles on your elbows, and when you come down, I think I talked to you about that one time when you were benching in the back room. Evan used to look like when he benched, he was such a tricep presser that he would
Like arc.
Yeah.
So like this.
Yeah,
so it would
pure.
be.
Yeah.
They say your wrist should always be like it should be an
Like
where
the,
you're not
the
like
stack
this.
is
Where
stacked.
so when the bar comes down and your chest at the deepest,
Yeah.
your hands are like still pretty much underneath. Like
Yeah.
Elbows and hands
Like
straight up and down.
this isn't a stack. This is a stack.
This is stacked.
So-
but and then they said, and then also like this is kind of. So
Right.
that they said that's your probably optimal.
Okay.
That angle.
Yeah, that and it makes sense because you want to stay stacked as much as possible. I would imagine. So, wow, yeah, and so you tried to go super wide and you just tore your shit.
And I got really strong, but I did. I tore my pec in a comp in 2008.
Wow. Peck went into his armpit.
I tore it bad, really bad. I looked like I was in a bad car wreck. Like
Yeah.
the next day, it
dude.
was.
Did-
I
now
mean,
how-
I had purple and black down in my hip.
Really?
I don't know if you've seen. There's a picture of Ryan Kennelly when he tore his pecs. He's a world class bench presser. I look just like that.
So, how did that feel when it happened? Because that's
I
nightmare
got well, so
fueling
I
as far as
turned pale. I did the same thing when I tore my bicep. It's a weird. It feels like. Anybody said, did it hurt? I'm like, I think it was so instantaneous.
The same with mine.
That it didn't. I don't want to say that
You didn't register
I
pain.
didn't manage to. Oh, ow, God, I'm hurt. It was like I knew something major was wrong because it felt like if you had the strongest Velcro stuck together
Yep,
and just got forced apart.
Yeah.
And that's what my bicep felt like,
Right.
and that's what my pec felt like too.
So, and that's what it's funny because I don't remember registering pain. I remember hearing a pop. I don't even know if it was like a audible pop that anybody else heard except for me within, and it was just a weird like, oh, that fucked up, just like that, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like any pain or anything.
But that's how I knew I was really hurt because I just immediately turned white as a ghost and started sweating
right?
with both of them. So
Jeez.
I'm fortunate. I have not torn any muscle like that yet.
Right.
But I
he
worry
said
about it.
Yet.
I
let's
worry
just
about
say
it.
no.
Those
Yeah.
squat numbers are getting up there. The bench numbers are getting up there. I just don't want to be that guy on YouTube.
What are your numbers right now?
I couldn't bench right now to save my life.
Really?
Yeah, I did after.
Well, yeah, you did that non-sanctioned one, but you were kind of
That's some of the most fun you'd ever have.
Right,
Too.
yeah.
So I did that meet in December. Everything. I mean, it sucked, but we had another one like 4 weeks later, and so I did one big bench day. After I think it was like 2 weeks in, 2 weeks after, I thought I had enough rest, and I was hitting 405. Felt comfortable. I could do that my usual 3 to 5.
yeah.
felt great.
These lights real quick.
Well, I threw 455 on there. I was like, I'm going to hit this for a quick pause just to see if I can do that. And I had another guy spot me in the gym, never really spotted me before, and I just told him, hey, if I fail a lift, grab the bar.
Yeah.
As sometimes, especially in the monolift, like we know each other enough to know that
When
we
it's
can grab
time.
something if
Yeah.
it looks bad.
Right.
And so I come down, I hit my chest, shot up, it went up really good, and I clipped the monolift. Now, for those out there, the monolift is a little hook that kind of comes out when you take the bar off, and when the bar's on there, it sits out. When you pick it up, the bar sits back, or the monolift sits back. But in my mind, I was on the far left rack, which just has these little pegs,
Yeah.
and that's what I usually squat out of. So I wasn't thinking about that. And when I pressed up, I always press up kind of high.
Yeah.
I don't have much of an arch. And I clipped that little J hook and twisted my bar twisted. And then Brian, the guy who spotted me, the guy who just spotted me just kind of was like daydreaming watching, and the bar was crooked, and then he realized it, grabbed it for me.
Oh man.
And so it didn't hurt at first until I went and did dumbbells. And the first time I kicked up the bills, I was just like, oh
You knew
shit,
it, huh? Yeah.
something's wrong. And then 2 days later, I mean, I couldn't even lift my arm up, like do anything.
So is it tore? Or did
No,
you
it's
get
feeling a lot better now. I went
Yeah.
to a doctor, and you know how medicine is these days. It's like WebMD.
Yeah,
they're like,
right.
oh, you have cancer or something.
right? Worst case scenario.
he was telling me like a couple days before that non-sanction meet we did, like I said, we go into that just for the fun of it.
Yeah, yeah,
You don't
of
got to
course.
worry about making weight. You just
Right.
weight the way. They do it on a body percentage.
Yep.
He's like, man, I don't know if I can bench. And I'm like, just go try. Just trying to like don't want to tell him to
motivate
bail out,
himself.
but like,
Yeah.
you know, maybe he's just always just, maybe he's in his head about something.
Right.
We're like,
Yeah.
And we get in there, and once we started doing the squats, and I could see how he was holding the bar, and I thought, something ain't right. Like, he was,
Yeah.
you could see how
right.
far he was kicked off to one side.
So he
kinda
was
dipping, and
compensating, overcompensating.
it was like
on one side.
he couldn't hardly even make it bend almost.
Right.
It looked like.
Wow.
And then when we warmed up on bench, and I unracked 315 to him, and he just went down to it, and he had me actually deadlifted off his chest. He was like,
Wow.
take it.
Yeah.
I
I remember
know.
that actually. I was
couldn't-
there when you
Yeah,
did
you
that.
were standing right there. I couldn't
Yep.
even get off my chest.
That
It's horrible.
sucks. Yeah.
But you know, I still had a good time. I got to watch Jamie kill it. Jamie
Yeah.
hit his biggest total ever.
right. What
well,
was it?
probably not ever, just for a while.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch him do that.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, once again, it was really cool to see Aaron put that on. There wasn't too
Yeah.
many lifters at this one. The last year there was a lot
There's
more
usually
lifters.
more? Yeah.
Yeah, there was like 30 something lifters last time.
Oh,
This
wow.
time there was 15.
Yeah.
And we still had a blast. You know,
This-
everyone was
this one
there.
got over-
It's a cool little
Last
thing.
year it ended up. I think it went to about 3:00.
Wow.
This year that we were done. We were
out of there by lunch.
noon.
Yeah. Nice short day.
Because we went from squats to deadlifts, and it was going so fast that basically I was trying to get my deadlift socks on. And I was like, there were like two guys, like I was like,
Right
shit, I'm
before
like three out. I hadn't even pulled a warm up yet.
Yep.
So I just got my deadlift socks on, went over, and I was about one guy that was in front of me. I pulled, there was like a bar with 375 on it, and I pulled it for 2 reps, and it was like, all right, going
Yep.
up.
Time to go. I know you got the gym record, right? Was that a record for you at all, other than just gym record?
No,
We hold all the gym records there, I guess.
Yeah.
no. I mean, it was. I mean, I've pulled more than that before, but
Yeah.
But as a probably recently, like since I've dropped weight and I've kind of started putting weight back on, it's
He's getting stronger every week.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, technically, I broke my own deadlift record in June, and I had something happen that I've never had happen on the deadlift because I do hook grip.
You ripped your thumb?
I locked it out, and Sam Peckel told me to put it. As soon as he told me to put it down, it just fucking ripped out of my hands.
Really?
Yeah, it was my right hand. It slipped out of my right hand.
Look at those fucking gloves, man. Holy shit.
Catcher's mitt.
Wow. Imagine getting smacked with that fucking
Ideal
thing,
for
right?
deadlifting, man. He has
Hell
long
yeah.
arms, big
Right.
hands, perfect
Strong
deadlifting.
grip. Oh, yeah. So when's the next meet?
We're
For-
talking about doing one in April.
I'm doing a deadlift only in April.
Where at?
You know what it is? It's an ego thing.
Oh, of course.
Because I'm like, you know what? Because I've set the records and then broke every one of my own records since I hit 45.
Yeah.
In that age category.
Right.
And I broke the bench. I set a bench record and a deadlift record at Grants Pass during COVID. Like when I first turned 45. Mm-hmm. And I broke the bench record that I set then in June.
Wow.
It was 424, and I hit just under 430 in June. And I had the deadlift broke. I was just under 635 that slipped out of my hands.
Yeah.
Because it's the record 628, and I want to break that record. Like,
Oh, of course.
it's kind of like a personal thing for me, like some race in the past type shit.
Yeah.
There were some people
yeah.
with me for that comp that I don't really want it to be a memory anymore. So
Gotcha.
I told him I'm fucking going to pull deadlift in
Right,
April,
yeah.
and I'm going to beat that record no matter what.
Where's it at?
Sisters, right?
Sisters.
Oh, Sisters. Okay, cool.
Are you
If the shoulder's holding up, I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll have enough time. Either way, I'm going to go. I like going and watching Jamie too.
Yeah, of course. We'll
Keep
support
each other
and
locked
everything.
in and stuff. That's
Yeah.
one of my most favorite thing about working out with Jamie is we keep each other pretty locked in on stuff. We'll
Yep.
come into work. Doesn't matter if we had a shit day at work.
Right.
You know, someone pissed us off. Once we're in the gym, it's just like, all right, let's handle business.
Accountability. That's what a true partnership
Mm-hmm.
is for sure. Absolutely. I get that.
Yeah, so that's probably my favorite thing is, you know, I've had workout partners in the past that they just bail on a lift
Just
because they
not
had a
on your
shitty
level.
day or something.
Yeah.
They just weren't about it.
Right.
And I understand. I'm not
Yeah.
faulting them for that. But it started getting excessive. And then Jamie and I have worked on together on and off for probably, about 5-6 years? But, you know,
This has been the most we've been actually like.
Yes.
Locked
Me
in.
and him.
Just,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, if he's not there, I've been working a lot. Well, I have worked out once with that. You know, the black guy who was at the.
Yeah.
Anthony?
Yep, Anthony.
That guy's
he's
a lot. He's
strong.
got a lot of.
I like
He's only
that guy.
34.
He's got so much potential that he doesn't even
And so
realize
he
it.
came in and did bench. My first one. I knew he couldn't come and bench. He met me for bench 2 Mondays ago, and I asked like, so what's your like? I mean, he's just an open book. Like,
Right.
I'm like, what do you usually do? And he's like, well, you know, I don't usually have a workout partner, and
Mm-hmm.
so like. I said, well, how do you warm up? Show me how you warm up. And so we did his
Yeah.
warm up, and then I said, where do you go from here? He goes, well, usually, like, if I'm going to do, it sounds like he's just been kind of doing
Just
touch and
going
go
through
with everything, like
motions.
saying, well, let's just see each time he benches. It sounds
Right.
like he almost tries a single max each time he benches.
Really?
And he just didn't know anything different. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, okay, well, how about instead of going for a big single, like I said, so what normally he would do this, and then he said he'd go to 315 for a single, and then he would jump up and try whatever he's going to try. That
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, well, how about we do this? Like, so I'll go at your space, because he said he goes at 275 and did that for 3, and then he would go to 315. I'm like, okay, how about we do 275, but we're going to pause it for a 5.
Yeah.
You know, if you can only do a pause it for 3, that's cool, but if you can do it for 5, do 5. So he did a pause, and he paused it for a 5, and he was happy that he did that. But he also had kind of some security, because he had somebody there if something went wrong.
Right. Yeah.
So then after that, I told him, I said, well, I'm going to go to 315. I was like, don't feel like you have to, but think about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to work on heavy sets of 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to do 5 sets of heavy 5 sets of heavy 2 and 3s. And so he went to like 295, and I think he got paused 3 with 295. He said he'd never done that before.
Yeah. Nice.
And then I had 315 on there, and I did a pause set of 5, and he's like, you know what? He goes, I think I'm going to see if I can't do this for a pause set of 2. And he almost got 3. He got 2, and then I had to just kind of help him wrap the third.
Yeah.
And then he pyramided it back down. So,
and if he can get into that mindset, like a true powerlifting mindset, he could be so strong.
Just
I mean, he is strong.
tweaking.
He already is super strong.
600 without a belt is nuts.
No belt, squats without sleeves, or
Just
he
a
had
little form
breast
tweak.
belt.
He was squatting in like Adidas
yeah,
basketball.
right.
shoes.
no knee
Like,
sleeves.
whoa.
No
he
knee
all he had
sleeves.
was like a little
little
neoprene
breath
Velcro
belt
belt.
thing. Yeah.
And he
squatted
and he
600?
and he
No,
squats.
he deadlifted
he deadlifted 600, but he's really tall.
Yeah.
Like he's tall and like lean, like kind of long muscles, and he squats like Evan squats narrow. I squat. It's funny because I always related, if you deadlift narrow, you should probably squat narrow. Well, no, I deadlift narrow as shit, but I squat wide.
Right. Yeah.
So, and Evan to me squats narrow. Well, he's even more narrow than
Right.
Evan. And like when watching him, I'm like, dude, I'm like, you know what? If we could figure out and mess with your stance a little bit,
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you right now, what you're doing, it's all quad because
Right,
he's so
yeah.
narrow.
Yeah.
He's not engaging his hips, and he's going deep.
Yeah.
But it's just all quad. muscle.
Right. Yeah.
And his toes are straight forward.
He'd be a good power lifter if he he start training with you guys for sure.
Yeah, it'd be nice. He comes into any time, so
Yeah.
we kind of we'll baby him into it a little bit. He seems like he's really into it, but there's been lots of times we had guys come up to us in the gym at what times and just ask us like, how do you guys do this? What are you guys doing? It's like sometimes we're just being goofy. We're like, it's just pure hate, man.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I'm
just
fighting
pure
a lot
hate
of
and
demons
caffeine.
right now. Yeah.
And they'll train with us once or twice. We won't see them again.
Yeah.
And we don't train that hard, man. We have our
Right.
hard days. We have our dynamic days.
Yeah.
I've
Just
had,
like
I've
everyone
had
else.
people tell me like because I've had like 3 different guys. I was lifting with Jeff and Matt for quite a while, and I enjoyed it. I liked lifting with them, and they were always in the gym, but they were so set they didn't want to try anything different.
Yeah.
It was the same shit every day.
Right.
And like I'm all about like figuring out what I'm weak at and working on that to make a difference. And so I kind of started branching off, and then I had a couple guys, and like I had 2 of them to say, man, it's too intense,
Right.
And then they would say you're too. Like I had somebody tell me, he goes, you're just too intense about it. Like it's
Wow. I'd love to train with
So,
you guys.
I just get- I just get
I'm
in the
just so
zone.
much weaker than you that it wouldn't.
It's funny because Stephanie recorded my 615.
Yeah.
So she was right there recording it. Well, there was somebody standing by her. I couldn't see the guy, but I could hear the recording, and she's going, "Come on, babe, you got this, no problem." And there's some guy, and he just goes, "This guy gets really angry when he lifts." Dude, it's just clear as shit. You can hear it. And I just started laughing. Like,
Right.
and then I about punched the mirror, accelerated, and fell over into it. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well, that looks
Lightheaded, man.
Right.
Screaming and yelling.
Yeah. That's funny because that's what you did at Genuine Fitness. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
that?
That's
Yeah.
the
When you
deadlift.
hit the mirror.
He was there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a guy right by her when she
Right,
recorded that.
yeah.
He goes, "This guy gets really angry." when he
Right. Yeah. I think there is a lot to say about like the intensity that people find, like we find within ourselves to lift heavy, and I think it's freaking awesome. But
It's weird because deadlift is the one thing that I can basically channel if I'm mad about something or upset about something.
yeah.
I can, for some reason, I get messed with squats and I'll bench. Say if I'm thinking about I got a relationship issue going
Right,
on, or
yeah.
something happened at work, or one of my
You
kids and me
use
aren't
it
getting
for
along.
fuel.
I mean, I'll still have a good workout, but I'm probably not going to be
Right.
zoned in like I should be. Deadlifts, I can take that stuff and I can just channel it. And,
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just grit my teeth and just.
Go
Yeah.
for it.
It's nice how we feed off each other too. Because my worst lift is my deadlift. So he'll be in my head about deadlifts and he'll pick me up as kind of like I help him with the squats.
Right.
And so we're both pretty big benchers. Mm-hmm. And so with the squat and deadlift, we really hype each other up, and it's been working out. I've been getting better at my deadlift. He's been getting a lot better at his squats.
Yeah.
He could have done 600 easy.
I know I got a 600 in me. It's just this thing right now.
Right. That's the shitty part. Our brain tells us something else, and then our body tends to follow it.
Especially at comps. That was our second or third comp together back in December.
Second.
Because that was a new report.
Well, I mean, I guess December would have been third if we consider the genuine too. If we
I'm just talking about like sanction.
But the sanction, 2 sanction and 2 non-sanction.
Because we did June together, and then we did December.
In December was the Newport one where they called you on that depth with squat, right?
So that was something I was really thankful to have Jamie around, because that pissed me off. It messed with me a lot, and there was so much shit going through my mind. And you get it. You've been there and lifting. There's sometimes you get hit for depth. You'll watch it on the video, and you'll be like,
you're like, what the fuck?
That's bullshit.
Well,
and then you'll see another lifter do it, and everyone in the line that's on deck will look at each other like, that guy.
The guy that went right after him, won't name names, went right after him and was going for a state record. And was so high it wasn't funny.
It was the picture I sent you.
But got the lift.
Yeah. Did you give it to him? I feel like they're usually more stringent on when it's like for a record.
Now, my conspiracy behind that, it's not really conspiracy, but my biggest problem with a lot of these sanction meets are the judges are able to compete as well in the things they're allowed to judge.
In their own.
You would think that's a conflict of interest. It's the same reason NBA refs and NFL referees cannot bet.
Yeah.
For that same interest. So it really kind of bothers me, because someone told me a long time ago who was a judge, like they never call the judges on their depths, in their pauses. I didn't notice it too much until, and it sucks too, because you see other people fail lifts and you're like, that looked like he had it.
Right.
And it doesn't really hit home. And then it happens to you and you're like, that sucks, man. That really pissed me off. And you see other people, and this last one, I don't want to shit on anyone, man, but this last one was really unorganized. They misloaded this poor guy, it was his first meet, he went for a bench, and they put Jamie's bench on this guy's...
They put my third attempt on his third attempt.
The dude was maybe a 350 bench.
But he was, I think he was supposed to be trying like a 350, just under 360 for his last lift.
Yeah.
And a max for him. They had my weight loaded on it.
Oh,
he so knew he wasn't looking at the board and reading the kilos and seeing what was loaded on there.
Squashed him.
And so he unracked it, and I watched it, and his arms kind of shook when he unracked it. And I immediately looked at him like, I don't know, something screwy here, and it just slammed on his chest.
Did they find it? Did they recognize?
Well, so they slammed it, and they picked it up, and he sat up, and then he looked at the. He's like, "Hey, that's not right," and they gave him a 5-minute rest.
5 minutes.
And let him try it again. But by that point,
This
I mean, you
poor
know,
guy's
when you get over like.
Yeah.
Something
oh,
too
his
much.
nervous system is like...
He didn't even get a negative. It just...
Right. Head weight, man.
Wow.
And you can see it in his face, too. When he lifted off, he was like, shit.
Yeah.
It's heavier. And then one of the first deadlifts that went, or it was a flight C or B, it was another kid. It was one of the judges at Aaron's meet. He was going up there, and his opening attempt was supposed to be around 500 pounds. Well, they put like a 596 or something on his... And he got it up to his shins and dropped it. And the same thing, he realized what they did wrong.
Wow.
5 minutes rest, he didn't hit his full potential.
Was it new? Was it like a new crew or something?
When I spoke to a judge there, because like I said, I was pacing a lot. I was really pissed.
Yeah.
Jamie was helping. He was like, let's just get through it and stuff. Yep. And I was like, I agree, but fuck that.
Yeah.
And there was another guy I knew that was a judge, and I showed him, and he was kind of in the same boat about it. And he says, you know what, there's 2 new judges out there. Well, in one of the videos I took, I think it was our friend that lifted too, one of the judges on the side was staring at the floor.
Oh, fuck.
And in the video, it's like, do I really want to bring a stink to the meet director? Because my biggest problem about that kind of action is...
Well, I think you should bring a stink to the meet director.
I should. There's just a way. I got to do it the right way. I don't want to do it in front of people because...
you want to keep it professional. And
it's hard, trust me, but... When you throw a lot of time and money at this kind of stuff, just to be told by someone who ain't doing their job or not taking their job seriously, it sucks, man. And in my videos, you know, you don't even see the judges get down and look at your crease because that's what they go off of is your hip crease. They're just sitting back in their chairs like they're in fucking Hawaii, you know?
Right, yeah.
And it's just like, come on, man, get your ass down there and look.
Especially since you pay to be in that meet. You've trained for months to be in that meet. You have to travel to be in that meet. I mean, it's not your fault.
Hundreds
they
of
chose
dollars, man.
to be,
weeks of training.
I was questioning if it was, because at first I'm like, this is weird. This is the most unorganized I've seen this comp. Because even through,
because that's usually a good comp.
There was a whole flight that like people didn't show, so a whole flight got dropped off of squats.
Oh, wow.
So like we got rushed through our squats. I squatted. Was it three? Had 396 on the bar.
I don't even think we had 400 pounds.
We had just under 300 pounds, or just under 400, like 396 warming up.
Yeah.
I hit it for 3. We went to rack it. We were going to go up again. And Pete runs in. He goes, "Hey, you guys are up."
Oh.
So we're running in there.
Right,
Basically,
yeah.
so I ran in there. My opener was 551.
Wow.
So I jumped 100.
Can't change it.
Almost 160 pounds.
Oh, with a warm up of 350.
I hit it, but I fucked my groin up doing it.
Yeah.
And so when I did that, I was like, and I thought, okay, the way I feel right now, I know I can still bench. I can hobble through deadlifts.
Yeah.
But if I squat again and the way this
You're
is
gonna
on
fuck it
fire,
up, yeah.
I'm probably gonna. That's gonna be it. And I'm gonna do another one where I squat a big old squat and then I don't get nothing.
Right.
So
yeah.
I told him, hey, you know what? It sucks because I wanted 600. That my plan was 600.
Right.
So it wasn't just us either. There was 5 or 6 other squatters. So, I brought that up and we were told like, oh, it's your responsibility to know your warm up. It's like, I understand that if it's maybe 1 or 2 of us. If it was just Jamie and I, I'd be like, we screwed up.
Yeah.
But when there's 6 or 7 lifters that are looking around like, holy shit, our flight's up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple guys got lapped. Mm-hmm. Like he's like, you know what? I'll just
screw they didn't do their first attempt.
I'll just have to take a fault
really?
this first one and I'll be ready my second one. Like it was. But I was wondering if it was because normally that comp, and I don't know why it was swapped this time, but normally our the non-tested is on Saturdays and the tested is on Sundays. Well, this time it was swapped.
Oh.
And so I'm wondering. I was kind of wondering if maybe that is because it's like the same crew of guys. And they're just kind of they're kind of a little wore out from the day before, and then it's just like they're not quite on their A game for the second day.
Yeah. They get bored. Imagine, for us it's a long day, and at least we're lifting, which gets exhausting. But like, imagine judging all day for those days. They're probably just bored. That's the problem. They're tired and bored, and I'm not justifying. What I'm saying is, you're getting paid to do this. Do your fucking job.
There could be many. I don't want to sound like that guy that just bitches about the referee and stuff. You can have bad calls and everything, but when you see it happen so often,
yeah,
that's why I wrote on Insta. What I got the best feedback on is I was just spitballing some shit out there, and I was like, they should have a monitor out there to review something on a record lift, not just your standard lift, but a record lift.
I think they should do that too.
Tennis fucking has replays, man.
Yep.
If tennis has replays, badminton probably has replays.
Right. Yeah.
Why can't
there's no reason why powerlifting, especially on state, national, world record, they should have a screen, because they do it in the big shows.
Oh yeah.
Right. And absolutely, man.
And so how much money would that really cost to just set up a monitor that you could play back 20 seconds and say we did get the lift. That was just my thing, and the amount of messages I got on that.
Right.
All from some of them from judges. I think that's a great idea. I think that would quarrel a lot of people being pissed, because I've known people who've done these meets and felt they got mistreated or judged incorrectly, and they don't come back.
Right.
And it only took one time, which really sucks, because this was the first time I ever left there thinking I got screwed.
Yeah.
All the other lifts, if I missed a lift, I missed a lift, man.
Right.
That was how it was.
Yeah.
I never got questioned on my depth. I never got questioned on, my pause rep on my bench. Never an issue. The only time I ever got red light is if I missed the lift.
Yeah.
If I couldn't bench it.
Right.
I couldn't squat it, or if I couldn't pick it up.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I ever got hit my depth, and I've never been questioned on my depth. It's funny, because I've been the same weight for about 4 years now. Almost 5 years. It fluctuates about 7 pounds. But when I wear my SBD belt, there's a pinch I get under my belt button.
Right.
That's when I know I hit depth.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Fail-safe system, man. It worked every single time. And in that video, it's right just under that. Pop it up. And in the video, I get it up, and everyone's cheering. I hear everyone go, oh. And I looked up, and I saw 2 reds, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then the next guy that went up was 3 inches higher than me. 3 lights, and I was like, whoa.
Right.
And everyone kind of looked at each other like,
they knew,
that guy's a judge, man.
Right.
And I just don't want it to become a buddy system.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what...
Well, it needs to be fair and impartial, non-biased. Absolutely.
To a different... when there's certain referees that can't referee in certain leagues because of that kind of thing, whether they have a family member playing in a league.
Right.
Whether it's professional or not. I think that should be the case in something like this, especially when they're saying it's growing. If it's growing, if a judge is certified in that league, he shouldn't be able to lift in that league.
Right.
He's being judged by his friends, basically. Because you go to the meetings.
Because they're all the same. They all go to the same
You shouldn't
ones.
be able to lift in that.
Yeah.
You should go to a different league. And there's, 2 other leagues? There's IPLs and what's the other one?
USAPL, IPL.
So there's a couple others.
Yeah,
Granted, you probably have to go to Portland. I think IPL doesn't come around here. I think they just do it based out of Portland.
Yep.
But still, I think that would be a good start.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
I know USAPL, they have like the U of O college kids at our FS. They compete at our gym or when they do their competitions. So yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it is kind of odd that they don't see that as a conflict of interest.
Right. And back in the day when I used to go and watch friends do it, it was real small. There's probably 30 people that go watch, maybe 15 lifters.
Yeah.
And now, it's a whole weekend event.
Yeah.
And if it's growing or if it's sustaining, whatever it's doing, I would like to see the new faces come in and get a shot. Everyone should get a shot. I'm not saying they should get special treatment. Right. But it'd be nice to see. I love seeing the new guys come in. And that's how I was. Yeah. I would go to a meet and I was like, man, I want to try this.
Right. Yeah.
And then my very first meet was a disaster because I got hurt in warm-ups.
Oh, really?
Forever Strong. I still did really well. But, yeah, Dev was my hype man then because I told him what happened. He's like, no, you got to shake that and get to it, and I pushed through it. And, I hurt my back. Same deal. I caught it, one of those stupid J hooks on my squat on warm-ups, twisted my back, and I finished the meet not as good as I thought I could do, but I still did really well. Yeah. And I just kept that motivation going. And I think one of the big things with Jami is he wants to compete. Like he brought up the guys before that never wanted to change and stuff. They never wanted to compete. There was always some reason or excuse. Now Jeff would compete. Jeff did really well. He set several records in deadlift, if I remember right.
I think he still has a couple.
And so it was nice. And then when word would get out, Jami and I competed, then all of a sudden, we got 3 or 4. Right. If you ever go to Anytime Fitness, it's up on the wall. Yeah. All of a sudden, people start coming in and competing. It's pretty cool. I like it.
Right. Yeah.
And it gets the name of the gym out there. This ain't nothing against any other gym, but it's kind of funny.
No, I know. I get it. Yeah.
When we go to a competition, they're like, what gym you guys at? Yeah. And you're like, oh, we're at Anytime Fitness. And they're like, what? Yeah.
Because they think of it as a
like, no. Like a regular commercial.
Right. Like a commercial. Yeah.
This ain't Planet Fitness.
No, you got some heavy hitters over there. You guys being heavy hitters.
Yeah, and there's some strong people in that gym. Yeah. Some of them want to compete, they just won't. I don't know if it's stage fright or if they
A lot of people have stage fright. A lot of people I talk to, I have people that won't do it simply because of the singlets. Really? Literally because of the singlets. I'm like, dude, don't worry. Yeah. We don't care how small it is.
If you're so scared of it, put a tube sock down.
Right. Exactly.
I had one guy that was training with me for a while. He was a really good bench presser, just naturally good at bench for his size. But he needed a lot. I think he had pretty weak hips, so he had some issues squatting, and I was trying to work with him on that. But he would give up so easy. Yeah. He'd just get frustrated and like, okay, I'm just done for the day. And I'm like,
wow, with that attitude,
it's not going to get any better, man. Well, then once he did his first comp, he realized that there were other guys, and that were good at what he was good at too. Yeah. And then also could squat and deadlift, and that was it. He did one comp and he was done. He says, no, I can't break any records, and I can't. I'm like, you're not doing it to try to break records. I mean, yes, if you can, that's cool, but you're not. You're kind of competing against yourself.
Yeah. Like, and that's the ultimate goal.
You can't go in there for your first comp saying, well, I'm going to break these records and do this, and you can't go in there like that.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and that's my opinion, right, or my mindset right now. Like I got a competition coming up, which I'm qualifying for nationals
next weekend.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Next weekend.
I'm pumped for you, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm just doing qualifiers. The big numbers are going to be hopefully big numbers at nationals, but I'm also part of the we have a little 90-day challenge at FS where it's body composition. So lose body fat, gain muscle. Whoever wins that gets $1,000, right? And I got a lot of people because I'm almost 49, right? And I'm like hitting it. I'm in my cold plunge every morning. I'm doing my cardio. I'm doing my training. I'm locked in, right?
My diet. Instagram stories, man, makes me cold reading them.
Right. Well, I'm locked in. I mean, I'm counting my macros and everything, and it's like I got a lot of people gunning for me because they know that they gotta compete against me. Right. Mm-hmm. And my mindset is I'm not competing against you. You're competing against me. I'm competing against me. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes me more lethal because I don't look at you as competition. I'm my own competition. That going to what you just said, you do this for you. If you get state records, you get state records, right? But my ultimate goal is to be better today than I was yesterday. And I'm locked in. right?
If you wear a Team Mike shirt, let me know. I'll take one.
Right? Hell yeah, that's a good idea. I wish you guys can come to Vegas and watch me at Nationals though. That's where it really counts.
Man.
Have you guys ever? Do you guys ever do Nationals or Worlds or anything?
I did.
You've done Worlds.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
The one here?
Huh?
The one that was here.
It was
a
at
couple-
the- yeah, I took it. Yeah, so I didn't even realize that I qualified for it. I had, so it kind of. I never thought I would have ever be under 240 pounds again. Like I was 240 in high school. So like in my
You were light.
my kids talk about how skinny I was in high school, and I was 240 pounds. You see
Wow.
pictures of me. So I ended up with I had a major drinking problem. I was eating which I feel really stupid admitting this. I was eating like 2,000 milligrams of ibuprofen a day.
Oh,
Get up,
shit.
pop 4 gel caps in the morning, pop 4 before the gym, and then usually depending on how I felt going to bed, I'd take 2 more.
Yeah.
And when I ended up with kidney problems in the
Yeah.
hospital.
Oh, of course.
I went to bed one night weighing 265 and woke up in the morning, looked like I was pregnant.
Wow.
My ball sack was
Bloated.
like elephantitis. I couldn't get him
Oh,
I
shit.
couldn't get him in my underwear.
Really?
And I weighed 286 or 287. Water
Overnight.
weight, retained water weight all
Oh
night.
shit. Ooh.
So I called my boss. I'm like, hey, man, I got some crap going on here. I need to get in the hospital. He said, what do you mean? I'm like, okay. I said, I went to bed weighing 265 and I'm almost 290 right now.
Yeah.
I've retained water all night. I said, I look like I have a pregnant belly.
Literally got blue balls.
And I had abs. I mean, I had full on abs when I went to bed.
Yeah.
And like I was like in the mirror, like,
What
it's a
the?
bad dream.
like that show Santa
I'm like
Claus.
that, or like you know, like a Homer Simpson's mirror or something. I'm like, something ain't right here.
Right?
And so I went to the hospital and like they hooked me up to a bunch of IVs and like he goes it's a good thing. He goes, if you would have let it go another week, he goes, your kidneys were shutting down on you.
Right.
He goes,
Wow.
they were taking a shit on you. He
Yeah.
goes, it's probably been going on. He goes, I'm not saying this is something new, but this has probably been going on for like the last 6 or 8 months.
Wow.
So you've probably been having stuff go on. And so I was in there for like 3 days. They had hooked a bunch of IVs. They were getting put me on some, what's it called, fluorosamide? It's some kind of, but they had me on an IV. But
Yeah.
it was making something. I was like pissing out a gallon of water like
Right.
every like
Yeah.
half an hour.
Diuretic.
And so I mean, I
filter
basically
you.
laid in that hospital bed and watched my stomach go back to normal, like just
Wow.
laying there and peeing and.
Wow.
But
I
they-
wish I could just lay there.
They
and
gave
pee.
me on some meds for my kidneys and
I have to pee so bad right now.
all that stuff. So basically, I got out of the hospital, and because like he said, it was probably going on for like 6
Yeah.
8 months. I got out of the hospital and I weighed 248,
Wow.
and so
So you weighed less than when you.
I weighed
the
less,
night before.
Yeah, so I was 265, and I thought that was pretty normal for me. But he
Right.
said, he goes, you've probably been retaining water, and your kidneys been kind of working, shutting down. And
Wow.
and so I got out with 248, and I was already paid up for the comp
Yep.
in December, and it was December, and Pete says, hey man, I know you got some health issues going on. He goes, do you want me to just so you don't lose out on this comp? He goes, do you want me just to push it forward to next year, and you can get into one maybe next January or July
Right.
or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought about it, and I talking to Stephanie. I'm like, you know what, Pete? I weigh 248. I was like, I'll drop 6 pounds, and I'll compete at 242, and I'll just come in and do bench and deadlift.
Yeah.
I did that, and I 242, and I broke the bench record and broke the deadlift record. So I have those 2 records too.
Nice.
242 class,
Yeah.
and but I didn't realize that qualified me for IPL Worlds.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So-
Cool.
And so I did. I didn't know I was going to qualify for IPL Worlds. So I started naturally getting healthy,
Yeah.
sober, eating, and taking care of
Right.
myself. I started putting my natural body weight back on.
Yeah.
And so I got back up to about 262, and then I realized I qualified for IPL Worlds. I'm like, well, shit, I got to do that. Like, it's always in Greece. It's always
Yeah,
Europe.
yep.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to end up making it over there for one
Right,
of those. And
yeah.
It's here at the fair. I said, I got to do it. But then when the stipulations is you got to cut back down
Well,
to
you gotta
242.
lose the weight,
And you got to
yeah.
do the same 2 lifts you did. You got to do bench and deadlift. And,
Yep.
and so I did I went on like a fighter's
Yeah.
sodium cut.
Right.
Load and
water
cut.
water cut type of
And I
thing.
dropped 21 and a half pounds in about 6 days.
Wow. Fuck.
Which I still broke both the records I set. I only broke the deadlift by 6 pounds, and I only broke the bench by
You still broke the record.
by 11 pounds.
Yeah.
But probably 2 weeks before, I basically repped 625 for a double on deadlift. And it was all I could do to pull 606 at the IPL
Wow.
Worlds.
Yeah.
And I just was still not. I was not fully recovered.
Right.
I felt.
Yeah,
I
of
felt.
course. Right, yeah.
I
That's a lot of weight
I benched
to lose.
386 was the record I set. but it felt heavy as shit.
Yeah.
Normally that doesn't feel heavy to me at all.
Right.
But it felt extremely heavy, and like I just told Stefan, like, I'm not cutting weight ever again. I'm like, whatever I weigh.
You're just gonna go there.
If I'm at 274, I'll go in and I'll drop a pound and don't drink any water the day of weigh-ins and go on 274. Right. If I'm over 274, I'll do 308. Like I'm not cutting weight that much. I'm not cutting weight.
Where are you guys with like national and world records? Do you have any of those? No, not even close. Or
don't you have a shirted bench record?
I have 2 nationals. Yeah.
You do? Mm-hmm. Nice. In bench?
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
And it's the single ply shirt.
Oh yeah.
Sucks.
Right. Yeah, I think we talked about that.
You just
before.
have to walk around like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I know deadlift for my age. If I can get mine back up to, I pulled over 700 pounds before, but I also weighed about 290 or 300 pounds. Mm-hmm. And so, but that's the one thing. It seems like since I've kind of got the technical side down, the older I've gotten real technical on my squat and my deadlift, the way I set up, and now the strength is coming back, and it's actually coming back a lot. Seems like since this last comp.
Nice.
I just texted him the other night when we did a pretty hellacious hack squat workout. I was still sore.
I saw that you had just plates loaded.
I was still sore Friday when I pulled, but I was set to pull off the floor, and I pull sets with either 600 or 585 or just whatever I drink, and I pick a number out and see if I can hit it, and I do drop sets. And so I pulled as sore as I pulled 585 for almost 4.
Wow.
I got it for 3 solid, clean, no hitch. And then I was going to hitch the shit out of the 4th one. I got it just at the top of my knees. I could tell I was going to hitch it, so I just put it down.
Yeah.
But when I was weighing heavier and I could pull 585 for 4 and 5 reps, I was pulling deadlifting 650 to 675.
Wow. So, and what's the national record for your age and weight?
I don't know the one for 45 to 40. I think 45 to 49 in that 274. Like if I dropped under 274, I think it's like a little over 700 pounds.
Really? Mm.
Which I think's in his reach.
Yeah.
So, well, it's not. 45 to 49. That means I'd have to do it this next comp.
And you'd have to lose weight
because I turned 50. I turned 50. I turned 50.
Let's do it.
I turned 50 5 days later. So
yeah. Wow.
You should look at the ones for 50 then. It's always funny when we text each other lifts too, because we'll be like, I'm going to go in there, I'm just going to dink around, make it sound like I don't do shit.
And then
I'll
you
get
guys just kill
message of him repping 600 pounds deadlifts, or I'm squatting 600 pounds plus.
Damn.
We just go in there with this, maybe we'll dink around a little bit.
Right.
You're like, shit, 500 pounds on the bar feels really light today.
Man, I can't even imagine what... I felt 500 on my back, but I've never felt much over that. That's just insane to me. I mean, I'm already short, and I feel like squatting and deadlifting has made me shorter over the duration of my career.
The squat feels different because it's like it feels way heavier when you walk it out,
right?
And it's like in your head right when you get down, you're like, this shit's coming up,
yeah.
And you get it, and then you have to walk it back in. The walking out and walking in is the hardest part, especially when you're like way over than what you're used to. And that's the hardest part. So we're really comfortable. Like I know I can hit 600 pounds easy on pretty much any given day on a squat, just like he can do it with deadlift.
Yeah.
It seems to be the back and forth, like his squat and my deadlift. It's like one day will hit really good, and the next time it'll be like, oh shit, man, that felt way heavier than it should have. And then bench, we're pretty solid. Like we're pretty comfortable at 405 plus.
Yeah. On
bench, it seems like not for me right now, but how our usual training regimen goes when we decide to throw 4 wheels on there. Yeah, we know we can at least get a couple.
Yeah. So what's your rehab for your shoulder or whatever you're doing? Just time.
Yeah, I just
taking a little bit of a break. Now, are you lifting or are you just lifting super light?
I'm just not doing much for chest. I do some cables, a little stretching and whatnot. I'm really trying not to make it any worse. I would like to be ready for April. After this last comp, I was like, I'm done with this competition. I was going to switch. I was real salty about it. Right. But he made a good point. Like, hey, let's get another one in before. Yeah.
This is. I want to try this. This is a different one. I've never. Over at Sisters, it's called the Outlaw Open.
Yeah.
I know that I'm friends with the guy that's on Nate Boley.
Nate. Yeah.
And he asked me. I was going to go do it last year. And for something happened where they had to cancel it. I can't remember what was some kind of like a scheduling conflict or something else. So he said, you know what, we just had to cancel it.
Yeah.
So,
I went to that one with my buddy Cash. He did that one. He wanted to get qualified for Worlds, but he's tested, and that was a non-tested meet.
That's right.
So when we went, he still did it because he didn't realize till after
This
the
one,
fact.
this outlaw is it's still a 1 day event, but it's still tested and non-tested.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
they're all gonna be on the same day, but it's I think they limited it at like 45 lists.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it's a cool. Have you actually been in the gym?
No,
No, it'll be nice. It's decent. It's a nice gym. It doesn't feel too crowded,
I think
but
it says like sisters. It's a CrossFit gym or something.
yeah. Yep. And I got talked into helping plate load and spot because they were low, which sucked, but it was fun.
Get your workout in.
Right.
I brought my son with me to Idaho when we went over there for the bench competition. And that was where I set my national record. And he got talked into it at like
Really?
18, 19 years old. He didn't know he was getting himself into it. I kept telling him, like, hey, boy, you're gonna be moving some weights today.
Yeah.
And he did it.
Yeah.
He wasn't happy about it, but he did it.
We had tried to get him to go over to sisters with us. He's kind of been my back slapper. His kid.
Oh, yeah.
Because he'll double hand
Yep.
and just slap the shit out of my back.
Right?
Listen.
Yeah. Those are the best. When you get a good one. Until they hit you in the wrong spot and it's like, there goes my shoulder.
Well, most people have to use two. This guy only has to use one.
Right? Right. Leaves a big old mark.
I used to joke around, like, I wonder when he was younger if his hands were that big because you draw the little turkeys when you're kindergarten. He probably needed, like, construction paper for his hand.
Yeah. Right.
That's the first thing I noticed is when I shook his hand, I thought he was wearing, like, a Mickey Mouse glove in his hand. I'm like, damn, you can grab some shit, man.
Yeah, man. Imagine that around your throat. Slams you. Anyways, you got any questions for me?
What did you do to your shoulder?
I heard it training the bench
Okay.
when I was ego lifting a little bit and pressed a weight I usually can get pretty comfortably, and I got it pretty comfortably, but I hit the J hook and twisted the bar.
Yes, thank you. Sorry.
Messed it up.
You said
Other than
that.
that, I'm feeling pretty good. It's usually my back gives me issues because I broke my back a while back. And that's always been my Achilles heel, but lately it hasn't been so bad. It still bothers me, but it's stuff you can push through.
Right, yeah.
But no, I'm excited. I want to try this April meet, and then I'll go from there. I've toyed with the idea of dropping weight again, and it's nice being able to pick up cars.
Right.
It is, but it's also nice not having to feel like you need airlifted after you hike
Right.
Pisgah, too.
Yeah.
I told you that story last time. My kids, I took them to Pisgah, and even my 8-year-old, he's up at the top of the hill. Come on, Dad. I'm looking at him like,
Right, yeah.
they go back down the hill and back up. I'll sit on that bench like an old man and just stare at the sun.
Right,
I'm pretending like I'm getting the view, and really it's just like
Getting the life back in you.
oh, it's nuts because it wasn't that long of a turnaround. I used to not jog up that shit, but when I was a boxer, I could go up that real quick, come back down, barely even a sweat.
Right.
Now I go up there and I'm up to the top. It's like I got to change my underwear and my shirt. I'm just dripping sweat.
I was doing my cardio the other day, and I've been doing a lot of cardio because I'm cutting weight. And I got on one of the things that I'm doing, and my heart rate wasn't like, because I use my zone, and it has like a little indicator of where your heart rate's at. And it's like, it was in the gray, and I kept moving it, taking it off, trying to get it re-wet. And I'm like, fuck it, it's just not working. But it kept counting calories. And I realized that my cardio is actually so well that it just I wasn't like out of breath. It wasn't registering to where I'm stressing. So I'm sitting there, I'm 30 minutes into it. I'm like, what the hell? Because I barely got to the blue, but it's because I'm doing so much. Like when I do cardio, I do like some intense stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of cool to see that it's like, wow, this is actually working. So
flips the switch pretty good.
Yeah.
They, when my kids are doing it, then other people hear that shit going up Pisgah, and then you got fucking Cam Haynes crawling up, trotting up there with a backpack on you.
Right.
Stick with it. And I'm just like, screw you, man. Like, how much do you bench, brother? I have to catch my breath. Like, how much do you bench, man?
Yeah. Right.
I used to go through that. I used to play basketball a lot. I played basketball in high school. I used to play basketball a lot, and my son is really good at basketball. And he'd always have buddies over playing pickup games, and he's like always trying to get me to play.
Yeah.
I hadn't played in a while, and I went out there and started shooting around and started playing with him. I made it about 15 minutes, and I was sucking wind, and both
Your legs are shaking.
Oh, no, I jumped up because he
up.
thinks it's so cool because at my size, I've always been able to jump. And I can jump up off 2 feet and grab the rim.
Right.
And he would think that was so cool, as big as I was, and show his friends that. Well,
right.
I jumped up and grabbed a rebound, and I hit both calves cramped up.
Oh, yeah.
I hit
That's
the ground.
the
I hit
worst.
the ground. He's like, all right, does it go? I'm fine. I just crawled off the court. That's it. I'm good.
Yeah. Oh, man. Do you guys, you take salt? You salt tabs, anything like that on the regular?
I actually,
No?
Liquid IV is one of my best friends.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And he takes that a lot in the gym.
I actually mix it with my. So I don't take pre-workout like solid like every.
Right.
I'll buy a jug of it. I'll use it, and then I won't take it because I get kind of where I feel like I get a tolerance to it.
It doesn't do it. Yeah.
So I'll go off
same,
for a month. So I'll take it
same.
for a month and go off it for a month or something like that. But when I mix my pre-workout with liquid IV.
Yeah. Well, and I think that like you and I have like we're allergic to alcohol. We turn into alcoholics, I think. And I think that that's part of it. Like when you have a stimulant, right? It's like you build up that tolerance, and everybody does. But yeah, I'm the same way. I'll stop drinking energy drinks. I'll stop, taking pre-workout, stuff like that, just so I can get my system back and then slowly get back into that kind of stuff.
No, that's because that's what she always asks. Steph will ask, does that stuff actually work good for you sometimes? And I won't take pre-workout for squats because for some reason, because I like to down it on an empty stomach, and almost to where it's hitting me and I feel a little nauseous. But I can deal with that for bench and deadlift. It works good. It makes me, my first dose back on pre-workout, where I haven't had it for a month, like that first deadlift and bench day, like I'm gritting my teeth. I feel like I can rip shit off, 900 pounds off the ground.
Right.
But squats, if I take it and start feeling a little nauseous, it's kind of messed up a couple squat workouts.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I don't take it for squats.
I have no
Shit,
doubt.
man, I was different. I used to take shots of whiskey before my boxing matches.
Really?
I don't drink very much at all, but yeah, back in the day, I'd be like, shit, I'd get a little nervous, and I was a heavyweight. I was at the bottom end of heavyweight, and so I'd always box motherfuckers with
Bigger
like
dudes,
290 and stuff. My last boxing match, dude, was 320 pounds. I'm 228.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, shit,
Right.
I took a shot of whiskey, went out there and did my thing.
Right.
I don't know if it's liquid courage or just kind of calms you down. I'm
think it's
Irish, so I
both.
thought it would have the opposite effect.
Right.
Which it didn't.
There's some
Marshawn Lynch used to do that.
there's some big name powerlifter too that whiskey and deadlifts.
Really? Oh yeah. It was. I know who you're
Take
talking
shots
about.
of whiskey before he deadlifts.
Yeah. Who?
Can't remember who it was.
Works, man. It calms. For me, anyways, it really
For
calms
some
you
reason, I
down.
want
right?
to say Nick Best. That's out of Vegas.
Maybe.
But I'm not sure. It's an older big name like that.
Yeah.
But whiskey, shots of whiskey before he deadlifts.
Right. Well, I could see how for certain people it's a calming effect, and if it works, it works, right?
It didn't. But I haven't
couldn't
tried that
do
in powerlifting yet.
Right. Try it.
Maybe, yeah. Sneak a little in.
Right.
Ammonia salt. Just mix it in with it.
I think there are some smelling salts that have a whiskey base.
Probably.
I think
Yeah.
there's a smelling salt that's it's an Irish smelling salt.
Yeah.
I think it has a whiskey base to it.
Oh man, I gotta try that. I had one that I tried. It was brand new, and I didn't realize that. You were there that one time, and I cracked it open, and of course I didn't like slow. I went in on it.
Was it the Hades stuff?
Bro, I
don't know what it was.
It made my brain fucking hurt. It hit me so hard. My eyes were watering. It was like I felt it down my spine.
Sent chills down your
Keep that
spine.
shit away
Yeah.
from me.
That's what happened
Yeah,
to
it was
Lucas.
awful.
I bought a brand new one. And I tore the thing off. I said, "What do you think?" Lucas? He puts his head up.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Throws it on the ground so it just went everywhere.
Oh man.
Yeah, brand new bottle, but man, he was coughing and sneezing, walking around the gym.
Yeah,
Why
crying.
would he do that?
Yeah.
Caleb did that to the newest one I got.
Yeah.
First got it,
Really?
mixed it.
He expected it
And
though.
so I have one, and I always keep my gym bag in the back of my car.
Yeah.
So,
So
my
it stays cold and shit.
smelling salts in wintertime when it's cold, you got to kind of. I always take them out and warm them up a little
Yep.
bit before I use them. But summertime it's totally reversed. Like you get your bag out of your trunk and it's been 90 degrees in there,
Right.
And you pop that
Yeah.
thing and you're like, holy shit! You're like that
Leave it in your car,
But
man.
I had
Yeah.
just got it, and his kid's like, "Hey, can I hit that?" And I'm like, "Go ahead if you want." And he-
Yep.
Instead of like I was like, "It's potent." He went right up to us, and it's just he was crying.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Tears running down his
Yep.
face.
That happened to me in competition one time where I took something that was brand new right before squats, and I like couldn't even see. My eyes were so fucking watery.
catch your breath
Oh,
and-
dude, it was horrible.
They're making
I
it
still
more
got
gnarly,
the
too.
lift, but, oh man,
Jeff
They're
used to keep
lethal.
it in his. He used to have the bottle of it, and then he'd
in
put
a
it
canister,
in a hydro flask.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So you'd have to open 3 things before you could smell it. And I was like, fuck that, I ain't
Right.
doing that.
Yeah.
Have a big old build up like a ritual before you smell
yeah.
it. Like it's an
Right.
Indiana Jones puzzle. I didn't want to do that shit, but it kept it potent.
Yeah.
I'd just cheap out and just buy another one.
Yeah.
Because they don't last very long in the plastic bottles.
Yeah.
Seep
Well,
out.
and I have the one that's in the canister. I have one of those, but I need to refill because mine's old.
Yeah, you've had that a long time.
Yeah.
Well, I always went after the more hardcore name ones too. They had one that was like called Brain Fuck, and I was like, yeah,
Hell
dude.
yeah, that's right.
And they
up my
hit
alley.
hard, and it was like, that ain't too good. And I just tried one that just like smelling salts.
Yeah.
It looked like a prescription bottle, and I smelled that shit, and it just
Knocked
reached
you
in
on
and
your
grabbed
ass.
my brain. You know,
Yeah.
you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, shit, guys, this one's getting long, so let's thank you for coming.
Thanks for having
Really
us on.
appreciate it. Yeah, man. And
I
you
like
guys
the medals up there. I know I told you that last time, but that world medal, that looks nice.
Yeah.
Little dinner plate up there.
need to get another one.
I got 2 of those.
I don't. Yeah, badass. I don't know when the next Worlds will be in the States, though.
Well, sometimes it's in California, I think.
Really? I know
So.
that. I think the next
But I
one
can't believe
is
it
in
came
like.
here.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
yeah.
I have to look it up.
It's a long ways.
I don't care that much.
Anyways,
But I'll look.
yep.
It was cool to have you up there competing with us back then too in June, right?
Yeah,
That was really fun to see you up there.
yeah, man. Can't wait. Got nationals this year in July, so you guys
Vegas?
are gonna come, right?
Is that Vegas?
Oh,
Vegas.
wait.
Maybe
he
that'll
was
be an
there. So
excuse.
you guys competed on Father's Day also? Mm-hmm.
I did on
Well,
Saturday.
the day before.
Yeah.
You did the day
So that's
before.
and
Okay,
yeah, that's
so
where I
that's when
got.
you were there.
Yep, because I got qualified for. It was Worlds. Actually,
Yeah.
I was getting qualified for
Yeah, you
Worlds there.
went, okay,
Yep.
okay.
I can't believe I
all
missed that. I
coming
pissed
together.
all my PTO time away at work. And I was like, they'll come back. And then I realized, like, they probably won't for a while.
Right. Yeah.
Like, shit, maybe I dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah.
I was really strong last year. I
Yeah.
was hitting really good numbers. And I was like, I should have tried it.
Right.
I could do Vegas pretty easy because I live there and I have a lot of friends still there and
You should,
look up some
man.
places to stay.
You guys should come and
Never thought
watch.
about
You
that.
should
Cheap
come
to
to
fly there,
in
really.
July.
It's the
Yeah.
staying
I
there
compete.
and
I
eating.
think I'm competing. It's between the 6th and the 12th. I don't know exactly what date, but like I'll be competing probably on Wednesday
Is that July?
in July. Yeah, because I'm down a weight class. So, but anyways, thank you guys for coming on. Appreciate it. The talk is awesome.
Always a pleasure, man. I love it.
Yes, sir.
Story time.
Yeah.
Long story time.
Long.